What's up, my wild runners? Today's yoga flow is a key reason I overcame runner's knee, a common overuse injury often linked to tight glutes, hip flexors, and IT bands. This flow targets all the muscles around the hips, including the hamstrings, quadriceps, IT band, and glutes. Since the hips are the largest joint in the body, they need a bit more time to increase mobility. We will use a specific breathing technique with an elongated exhale to calm the nervous system and release tension. So let's get started. Stand in the center of your mat, with feet hip-width distance apart. Stand up tall and distribute your weight evenly through all four corners of your feet, and deepen the breath. Inhale for 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3, 2, 1, and exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 3, 2, 1, and exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Bring your hands to your hips. Bend your knees, and with a flat back, fold forward. With the hands on the hips, think about pressing the hips up towards the sky as you reach the crown of the head towards the ground. Inhale, half lift, flattening the back like a tabletop. Exhale, fold forward. Keep a slight bend in the knees and grab a hold of your ankles. Bend your knees as much as you need to do so. Bring your elbows towards the back of the knees, and with your biceps, pull your chest closer to the top of your thighs. Feel your hammies open up. Now, walk your hands forward into downward facing dog. Take a moment to pedal out your feet. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings and calves. From a neutral down dog, inhale and lift your right foot high for three-legged dog. Try to keep your legs as straight as possible. Then, bend your right knee and bend your right hip over your left, squeezing your right heel to your glutes. Draw circles with your right knee to explore your fullest range of motion. Return to downward facing dog. And now repeat with your left leg. Lift your left foot high for three-legged dog and try to keep those legs as straight as possible. Now, bend your left knee and open your left hip over your right. Draw circles with your left knee and explore your fullest range of motion. And release. Slowly step your feet forward and lower into a yogi squat. Your feet can be wide and pointing outwards at a 45-degree angle. Bring your elbows to the inside of your knees and palms together in front of your chest. Now let's flow with your breath. Inhale, straighten your legs, and exhale, squat back down. Inhale, forward fold, keeping your hands on your ankles, and exhale, squat. Inhale, lift, and exhale, squat. Inhale, up, and exhale, down. Good job. From here, lower the hands down behind you, take a seat, and windshield wiper the legs. Drop your knees to your right, and take a moment to move through both internal and external rotation. Here's a little mobility challenge. Stop when your knees are back to the right and lift the hands off of the ground. As best as you can, shift the knees left and right. See how well you can do this without using your hands, and keep your feet grounded. You'll notice that the core needs to engage for a smoother transition. If you're challenged by this exercise, don't worry. Just make a mental note of where you are now, and you will see progress very soon if you continue doing these yoga flows. Eventually, pause when your knees are back on the right side. Place your hands down behind you and bend your left knee deeper so the left heel is almost touching your glutes. Walk the hands back and lift the seat off the ground and tuck the tailbone under. This adjustment is key to stretching the quads. Now, lower the glutes back down and either stay here or lower onto the elbows. You should feel a nice stretch through your left thigh. Take a few deep breaths here, trying to breathe into the tension in your quads and thigh. Gently lift yourself out of that pose. Drop your knees to the left and bend your right knee, bringing your right heel closer to the right glutes. Walk the hands back and lift your butt off of the ground. Tuck the tailbone under and lower the hips back down. Lower onto the elbows or even further onto your back. Wherever you are, steady your breath. Inhale for 3 and exhale for 5. Good. Begin making yourself out of that pose and come back into a seat. Cross the legs and move into a tabletop position. Step the right foot forward in between your hands. Slide the left knee far back enough so the right knee stacks above your right ankle. Sink the hips to the ground. Feel the left hip flexors open. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Soften the muscles in the hips as best as you can. And as you exhale, half splits. Fold over your right leg and flex the right toes. You're welcome to keep a micro bend in the knee here, as long as you feel a stretch in your hamstrings. Good. From here, walk both hands to the right side of your right leg and point your right toes to the right side of the space. Now we're bringing the stretch to the mighty IT band on the outside of the right leg. Notice that this sensation might be a little more intense than in neutral half splits. That's to be expected. Keep breathing. Good. Now let's get a good glute stretch. Begin to bend your right knee with your hands still on the outside of your right leg. Look for a similar sensation that comes in pigeon pose. Relax the muscles in the face, let the hips sink, and breathe deeply. Good. Make your way back into a neutral low lunge. Hands down, framing your right foot. Take a breath in and exhale into tabletop position. Other side. Step the left foot forward in between the hands. Your left knee should be stacked above your left ankle. Let the hips sink and feel your hip flexors open. Notice that this side might be a little different than the previous side. It is normal to be asymmetrical, so don't attach any labels or judgments to this. It's just important to acknowledge it so we can work towards symmetry. Soften the muscles in the face. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Now, half splits. Start to walk the hands back, straightening out your leg. Flex the toes, an option to keep that micro bend through your left knee. Stay here. Inhale and exhale. Now, working on that IT band stretch. Walk both hands to the outside of your left leg and point the left toes to the left. Again, this may feel a little more intense than in neutral half splits. Use your breath to release into more depth. Relax the muscles in your face, close the eyes, and relax the muscles along the back and side of your extended leg. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Moving into the glute stretch, bend the left knee. This doesn't have to be a big movement. Just bend the knee to the point where you feel a stretch in your right glutes. The left toes are still pointing to the left, and both hands are still on the ground outside of your left leg. I'm struggling to keep my fingers on the ground, but you might have more mobility in your outer hips. Take your time in this pose. Find your breath and bring a feeling of patience to this practice. As flexibility and mobility take time to improve, it's important to practice with patience. Inhale, making your way back into a low lunge, and exhale, tabletop. Good work. Step the right foot forward, this time to the outside of both hands for a lizard lunge. We want the right foot to be either in front or directly above your right knee. The sole of your foot stays grounded, keeping the ankle stabilized, as you work your right knee further and further to the right. You're welcome to stay on your hands. For some of us, this is definitely going to be enough. If you want to take it further, start to lower your elbows to the ground. Find your breath. Inhale for 3, and exhale for 5. Begin to make your way out of lizard lunge. Moving directly into pigeon pose, bring the right foot to the left side of the mat and drop your right knee down to the right. Take an inhale, press the hands into the ground and pull the chest forward and up, like you're moving into a back bend. Then exhale, fold forward, coming down onto your elbows. If this is too much, stay on the hands. If it's not enough, lower the head to the ground. Any of these variations are valid here. All we're looking for is a broad, mild sensation to the outer right hip. Connect to that 3-second inhale and 5-second exhale. Slowly, we will begin to make our way back of half pigeon pose. Bring your hands down and lift your chest. Tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee and move into down dog. Inhale, right foot high for 3-legged dog. And as you exhale, bend the knee and stack the hips. Draw a circle with your right knee, just like we did earlier. We're just trying to bring some circulation back into the outer hips and come back to down dog. Tap both knees down and step the left foot forward outside of the left hand and slide the right knee further back. Make sure that the left knee is stacked directly above or behind the left ankle. We want broad stance here. Toes point outwards at a 45-degree angle. You can stay here on the hands or lower to the elbows. Feel the left hip flexors open up. Find your breath. Inhale and exhale. Good. Lift back onto the hands. For pigeon, move your left foot to the right side of the mat and lower the left knee down. Find any angle between 0 and 90 degrees between your femur bone and the shin bones that feel good in your body and doesn't bother your knee. Press the fingertips into the ground and lift your chest forward. Short moment to open up the front of the body. Take a breath in and with an exhale, fold forward. Onto the elbows or lower your head down to the floor. Breathe. We're here for 1 minute. Slowly begin to lift yourself out of pigeon. With an inhale, move through tabletop and into three-legged dog with the left foot high. Exhale, bend the left knee and stack your hips. Draw circles, bringing back some circulation to the hip. Good. Come back to down dog. Tap both knees down, coming into tabletop position, and swing your legs forward, out in front of you, to arrive in a seat. One more stretch before we close our practice. Butterfly pose. Grab your ankles and pull them towards your body. Keep a straight back, and with a steady breath, do some light intuitive movements to open up the hips. Try to notice which hip is more flexible. In my case, my left side is more tight, and I can really feel it in this pose. Now, let's finish with an intense stretch. This is one of my favorites. Frog pose. Place your knees wide and your feet open to the sides. Lower down onto your elbows and let gravity do the work. With your breath, you can slowly rock forward and back. Inhale and exhale. A few more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and try to get a little deeper with every exhale. Slowly make your way out of frog pose and onto your shins. Great work today. Thanks for joining me on the mat. I have a few other similar flows on this channel focusing on the same muscle groups and injuries. Check them out and see you back here tomorrow.